Hi, Bev. We've landed here on the dashboard since you told me you got this far the other day, and you were trying to affect what happens on the home page. Just going to pull that up here. You want to affect what happens here in the announcements column. So a little orientation. When we're looking at these items, say in the calendar, these are our pages. Here in the announcement, we're looking at posts. So going back to the back end of the website, you'll see that we have both pages and posts. Once we get into editing these things, they look very similar. I'm going to just zap us to pages very quickly, because when you're talking about updating an event, you are probably going to update both the page and the post. So let's see if there is a page for the blessing. And there is. I'm going to go ahead and, you can either click here on the title or here on the word edit, and either one is going to get you to the editing of this page. And here we are. This environment should look pretty familiar to you. It looks a lot like Word. The tools work pretty much the same way. To change something, you're just going to highlight it, type in it, delete it, however you normally would in Word. You have all your same tools up here for bolding and italicizing, etc. Notice that this text is bigger and bolder. It's heading 3 text, whereas if I click into this paragraph text here, it's paragraph level text. And we'll see that on the front end. If I go to the blessing of the animals, in that this is a preset bold and font size, and the paragraph text here is a different preset for font size. It's best to, when you're formatting text, use the paragraph for the normal body text and then your various heading levels. This way we keep consistency with the pages having same fonts and sizes and weights. Heading 1 is typically reserved for the title, which is showing up here. And then as you go down the headings, you get slightly smaller until you get to the paragraph text. So again, you can edit here to your heart's content. If you wanted to place a link, like this one here, all we did for that is to highlight it, click the link button, which generates this box, click the pencil to edit, and then you can paste in the address of whatever page it is that you want to link to, or you can click here on the wheel, which gets you to, excuse me, you can search here for another page or post in the site, or you can paste your URL there. If you're linking to something off-site, you want to always have that open in a new tab. If you're linking to another page within the site, then that's not necessary. Do notice here that these, with just dates, those are posts, and this tells you it's a page. And this is how you tell the difference between these things when you're going through the list. This page is the wish list page. If I couldn't find it down here, I could type wish list, and as I start typing, you'll see that the text down here changes in response, and wish list is a page right at the top. If I click that, it should have the same URL as what's already there, and in fact it did. If I click this one, you'll see that URL changes. Click back to the wish list. Okay, I can update that. So that's how linking works. Everything else I believe that you want to do is pretty self-explanatory, except perhaps adding photos. There's a couple ways you add photos. One is the featured image, which is this here. The featured image is going to show up in this top of the page kind of position. For this event, we decided we didn't want to use that, which is why the featured image is empty here. And instead, we put the image in line of the page. And the way that we did that, I'm just going to get the cursor above the image here, is to put the cursor where you want the picture, and then come up here to the Add Media button. And here in the media library, you're going to see all the pictures that have ever, and files, PDF files, that have ever been updated, or uploaded rather, to this website. So you can try and find one that already has, what you're looking for, or you can search. If I wanted to just search for blessing, could see what images might come up that have been used in the past. Looks like there's several. Or you can upload a new file by clicking this tab here. Here's the library, here's the upload. And then you can either drag a file in from your desktop or a file folder, or you can click select files, which will let you navigate your computer to find the file that you want to upload. Once uploaded, it becomes part of the media library. You just select it, you'll see the check mark shows up there, and then you insert it into the page. I'm not going to do that because I don't want another image. If I had done that, poof, it would show up and look just like this. When you click on the image, you can choose how it aligns, left, center, right, or this is no alignment. You can edit it, which takes you to this screen where you can caption it. Again, you can change the alignment. You can change the size of it. Here's where you would have it open in a new tab if it was a link that was leading off website. The alternative text is by default here giving us the name of the file, which isn't particularly useful to a person with disabilities. So I'm going to change that to Blessing of the Pets. That is what shows up, go to the front end here, when a person mouses over. A lot of times a little box will show up. I'm logged in, so it's not going to do that right now. A little box will show up next to the cursor that has some text there for people with disabilities. It also helps search engine rank. So for job one is to have it be something relevant that says something about, what a person, say, for example, a blind person is missing by not having the words on that graphic read aloud. And job two would be to put in some terminology that is search engine friendly to help the page get found. Oh, looks like I made a change. Let me go back in and edit. And I changed it to thumbnail size when in fact I want it to remain full size. There we go. We can see here that it changed. Blessing of the Pets. I'm going to leave it centered and update, and it gets back to the way that it should be. When you're all done, you probably want to first preview, which is clicking this button here. What it does is it opens up a new tab and it loads the page as though it would look if it were published. So this way you can preview your changes before it goes live to the internet at large, test your links, all that. When you close this, there's no harm and no foul. Takes you back here. When you update the page, that's when it pushes it out to the world at large. And then you can come to the actual website, reload the page, and you'll see all the changes that you made. And that is it for the time being on the site. I think that answers your questions. Oh, golly, it doesn't. So what we've done is edited the page, but we haven't dealt with the post, which is what you asked about in the first place. The post being the announcements down the side here of the home page. So here's the thing, what we're going to do really easy. We're going to put a cursor in the middle of this box all about the page. Select all. I did that with my keyboard. I'm on an Apple. It's Apple A. I believe it's Control A on a PC. And then I'm going to right click to copy that. So I just made a copy of everything on this page. And I'm going to go over here to posts, and I'm going to add a new post. This is a duplicity that we'll remove in the new website. But for the time being, you need to update the page and create a post if you want it to show up in both the announcements and on the calendar. So now I'm still here, and it looks almost exactly like pages, but we're in posts, which is evident here and here. I'm going to put my cursor in that same box, and I'm going to use my keyboard to paste, or I can right-click to paste. And there's all the same information. I can add a title, which is Blessing of the Pets. Let's see. Everything looks fine there. Here's how you get it added to the front page ticker. You click the announcements box. If it also fits other boxes, go ahead and click those as well. Here we're going to need to set a featured image, and I'm going to show you why here real quick. I can save it as a draft while I'm working. That saves it in the back end of the website without publishing it. Again, you have the option of previewing, which we just walked through, at opening a new window so you can look before it goes live. And then ultimately you have publishing. I'm going to publish it without adding that featured image to show you what happens. Head over here to the front page and reload it. Stop it. There we go. Going to just refresh that page. And you'll see that the Blessing of the Pet shows up here without any kind of an image. There's nothing wrong with that if it's enough. Usually if you add some kind of image, you do tend to get a little bit more attention to it. So we're going to do that right now. Just going to go down here to featured images, click on that link. I'm going to type in Blessing because I know there's an image in here that I can use. I don't need to recreate the wheel there. I'm deciding if one of these looks appropriate at that size because it's a little thumbnail, this shape that's going to show up on the front page. And I actually think that while this is our graphic for the event, this one is probably better for that home page. So I'm going to use this one and then update. As soon as that's done saving, I can reload it on the home page and take a look. And now we see this image is dropped in here. So if you prefer the other image, you know how to fix that. I like this one only because I can read all of Blessing of the Pets. And if you wanted to change it to this image, a couple of options. You could take this image into photo editing software and recrop it so that, you know, just the Blessing of the Animals showed or just the graphical portion showed. If I want to change this, I can either remove it or just click on it. If you're content with one of the images that's already in there, it's always going to crop to the center, which is why you're kind of getting this weird presentation with the text cut off. But if you preferred that, you would just click that and set the featured image. And what would happen is that this image would get replaced with the other image you chose, and when you published it, it would automatically show up here. So there you go. You know, as I do say this, it's bugging me. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go, let's see, what will I do? I'm going to grab this image. And because I only see that as a thumbnail, it can be teeny tiny. So I'm just going to take a screenshot right there. That was kind of squarish. I'm going to click here. And I'm going to add my new screenshot by dragging it in here. I think I like that image better, so I'm going to call it Blessing of the Pets. I'm going to change the title also because it was a silly name that meant nothing. And set that as the featured image. And it wants it to only be at least 200 by 200 pixels. Erg. I guess my screenshot wasn't quite big enough. I have to make it a little bit bigger. I think I can probably do that right in here rather than going into editing software. If I make the smallest size 200, you'll see that it automatically changed the other dimension. It's showing me that red exclamation point because it's going to be just a teeny bit pixelated because I'm taking a small image and making it bigger. I'm only changing the thumbnail version of the image. And it does not want to make it bigger. Gosh darn it. Okay, so I have to make a new image if I want that to happen. For the time being, I'm going to, for the purpose of this tutorial, go back to this image. I'll pick this time. And I'll go ahead and make a new image to put in there. I have to leave the editor that I'm in to do that and go over to Photoshop, and the video is not set up to do that at the moment. So I will leave you with that. I think you know basic photo editing, and we've gone through how to change that out. So you're good to go. When we're all done, we always just click update, make sure all changes were saved, and then head over to the home page, and we should see the other image showing up here. I suppose it would help if I click to refresh the page. Boom, you're good to go. I think that covers it, Bev. If not, give me a holler and we can chat on the phone, or I can do an updated tutorial for you. Have a great day.